guys, and welcome back. So today is all about turning some trash into treasure. I'm starting by just measuring out some 4x6 cards on a cereal box. So you can use any kind of cardboard that you would like to for this project. I just happen to have this cereal that had been sitting in my cupboard for a while, so I figured I might as well make some use of it. So I'm just using my large ruler for this. I actually found this ruler in the sewing department, and it's super great for just measuring things like this because it's wider than your regular ruler. And so I've had it for years and I just love it. So I've got my cards. I've also got some index cards, and I've got this pack of playing cards that we've had in our house for years and have never even opened. We got them free at a basketball game. And so I figured this would be a good use for it too. I'm also pulling out just some random 6x6 pages from this page paper pad I had, and just a typical school glue stick. And when I was getting ready to make these projects, I was actually prepping to teach an online class for a local university. And so I wanted to just keep um, my base material is super simple and super accessible. So that's why I'm using that glue stick for this. Obviously, you can use your matte gel medium, your Mod Podge, any of those kind of things. But like I said, I was prepping for a class, so I thought this would be a great thing to kind of two birds, one stone, make some samples and do a video at the same time. Now, if you know anything, or if you're kind of in the art scene, you probably might have heard of a thing called ATCs. They stand for artistic trading cards. And that's basically what the size of that playing card is going to be. And so you can buy pre-made and the correct size pre-made ATCs, but just covering a regular playing card is just as good. And it's a great use if you're someone like me that has trading or that has playing cards around their house, and maybe you've lost some of them and you don't have a full deck. Rather than throw them out and having them end up in a landfill, turning them into a small piece of art is just a great idea. Now, these are some old acrylic glazes that I've had kind of for a long time, and I kind of decided just to pull them out just to kind of play with them and see what I could do with the little finger painting. They're called Silk's Acrylic Glaze. So they're just kind of a transparent acrylic that has a little bit of a shimmer to it. They're by Color Art. And so I just thought I would play with them, and I really wanted to keep this project just kind of fun and easy. And so you can see I'm doing a lot of finger painting, and I'm intentionally doing this in a way that is not only kind of easily accessible with products that most people have. Obviously, most people wouldn't have the glaze, but you could do the exact same technique with just some plain acrylic paint. Most people have some kind of ink pad. But I really wanted to show just things that you have around your house that you could turn into just small little works of art. These are actually known as truth cards. Um, they can be scriptures, they can be words of affirmation, they can be song lyrics, they can be maybe something you heard at church in a pastor's sermon or whatever. The whole goal is just to make a truth, and when it comes to making truth cards, is to just spend some time thinking about whatever you're putting on that card. It could be, like I said, it could be really anything that's kind of speaking to you right now. And so I'm just kind of just going to layer um, some stamps with some acrylic paint and layer some papers and all that kind of stuff onto it and just have some fun. The great thing about doing these really small works of art is obviously I'm doing three at one time just for this particular project. But if you are crunched for time, but you really want to spend some creative time, doing a small project like a truth card is a great way to be able to spend some creative time and but not have to spend a lot of time doing it. I mean, you could easily do one of these little cards in like 5 to 10 minutes, have that little time to yourself to be able to create and to be able to focus on what God is talking to you or saying to you, or maybe even just something that someone has said that struck you and you thought, oh, I want to remember remember that, this is a great way to do that as well. I do love the idea of the ATCs because they literally do stand for artistic trading cards. And I just like the idea of making little works of art and then just trading them with your fellow artists, or maybe just having them with you when you go out places, and just being able to hand little words of encouragement and little pieces of art into the world to other people. I just think that concept is super, super fun. So you can see I've added some layers of paint, and now I'm just adding some layers of washi tape. I'm using some washi tape that I actually made in another video, and I will post that video right here, so that you guys can check that out and see how to DIY your own washi tape. I'm going a little old school right now with kind of inking the edges. I really haven't done that a whole lot since like my scrapbooking days. Um, but I really just kind of wanted to add a little something something to the borders. So before I started this project, I went ahead and went to just a Word document on my laptop and just put in this one particular scripture. And it is, I'm trying to find it real quick, Ephesians 4:2, and it says, with humility and gentleness, with patience, bearing one another in love. And I intentionally decided to keep this simple and just put the same scripture on all three of them. And I don't know. I liked it. And I knew I was kind of using that heart pattern, so that's why I decided to use this particular scripture. But what I did when I printed it, and this is a suggestion I give everyone, go ahead and just print it out in multiple, either multiple fonts or multiple sizes. I did just one font this time, but it'll definitely save you a headache later if you trim it out and make your little strips and then realize you've either made it too big or too small, and then you end up wasting paper and all that kind of stuff. So just kind of keep that in mind. Save yourself some time and some effort, and just print those words out in multiple sizes just to save yourself a headache for later. Or you can make multiples of the same one and that kind of stuff. So I'm using just some matte gel medium to put these down. You don't have to have anything fancy. Obviously, you can just use your, I could have just used my glue stick, or you could use Mod Podge. You don't have to buy like some kind of fancy matte gel medium. It all will work exactly the same. And I'm just going to do the same thing on each of these cards, where I just take my words and I'm just going to trim them down into little kind of word confetti and put those down with my matte gel medium. I just kind of liked this scripture, and I think I kind of like the juxtaposition of this idea of bearing with one another in love, because it's one of those, when you bear something, it feels like a heavy load, and it can get hard and it can make you angry. But there's, before it even says that, it has that reminder that we need to bear each other's burdens and in love. And even when it's hard, we need to remember to do it with humility and gentleness. And I think that's always a good reminder, especially kind of in that idea that we are kind of in right now, where it feels like we could use a whole lot more love and a whole lot more patience and a whole lot more gentleness and humility. Just me? Is that am I the only one that feels that way right now? So that's kind of where the idea to use this scripture came from too. Because like I said, I just kind of like that, just that reminder that we have to remind ourselves that love isn't always happy, and isn't always perfect, and it's going to be difficult, but we just need to remember to have humility and gentleness and patience while we're dealing with those people that we love. And since the Bible calls us to love everyone, we need to be dealing in humility and gentleness and patience with everyone. I know, totally easier said than done, right? So if you live in the United States or watch the craziness that's going on in our world, it's always a good reminder. And of course, I'm just adding a little bit of texture with my white Sharpie, and giving those little strips of words just a little more pop with some color and some scribbly lines, because we all know that I like it a little grungy. Someone said they liked my graffiti style, and I was like, that makes me sound a whole lot cooler than I actually am, but I'm gonna take it because I think it's cool. So I'm just going to add just a little bit more of just splatters of white and blue just to add some more grunge factor to this particular one. And that is kind of the end of today's project. I hope you enjoyed just taking some things that you have around your house that might be trash or otherwise and just turning them into little works of art and little treasures. That is all I have for you guys today. Thanks for stopping by, and I hope you will come back and join me soon. Thanks so much.